Welcome viewers, Zach here and welcome to the 5th round of the Roll Racing Creator Content Clash. You know the deal at this point. So we are here at France, which is, my home race. So hopefully with that in mind, I can get a podium or maybe even first position. And with that out of the way, here is my qualifying lap. With that qualifying lap, I was in P5. At first it was P3, but then obviously the faster drivers got their laps in and I ended up in P5. I'm okay with that, honestly. It's not always about qualifying position in this, it's about surviving the race because France is quite the tricky track, to be honest. And with that, it was lights out and away we go. I get a pretty good start. We're here in P4 and we're going a little bit wide there, but we are okay. And then we go wide again, but we're managing to stay within the other drivers. Almost got a penalty there, went a bit wide. And then here, the braking zone, I just kind of went wide and I got a warning there. I have to be really careful in this race with the warnings and also the tires because with my setup 13.7, there's going to be high tire wear because I'm going to be pushing through the corners as best as I can. But here we are, Row Arthur eventually catching up and we are here down in last place. This is not good news, but obviously it's only the first lap and anything can happen. Alright, here we are later in the lap and honestly I'm in last place. This is not good news. I want to do better than that. But just in front of me is Andy, who had a really bad exit and we get the DRS off him. He doesn't get any DRS, which means we have that advantage. I'm using all the DRS, but then he makes some massive mistakes, which means we have P5. Well, we better make sure not to make a mistake ourselves. But we've got P5 in the bag, hopefully. Let's see if we can survive. Here we are a few laps later and unfortunately I wasn't able to go very far. However, some of the drivers, because they were pushing so much, they had to pit earlier than I did and I was playing a bit more safe. That means I was able to manage the car even though it's going like crazy. And another good thing is that there, I don't know if you saw that, that was a safety car, which means I get a free pit stop. And I think some of them pitted earlier, they don't get that free pit stop. So honestly, I'm going to pit for hards and I'll tell you why. Because I was able to manage the medium tires and push them, and I feel like I can do that with the hard tires, and maybe that strategy could give us the win here at our home race. Let's hope it works out for us. Here we are later on at the safety car and all of a sudden there is heavy rain. This changes the whole race and that means that free pit stop I had was practically pointless, but nobody could predicted the rain. And this was bad news for all of us because we were all on a dry compound of tire, which means eventually when the lap will progress before we can get to the pit, we are going to struggle massively. So we have to do our best to navigate our car and get to the pit stop. Here we are later in the lap, don't mind us just struggling like crazy. There is Zoo, look, you could see he goes crazy wide. It's literally, it's impossible to drive. You cannot go faster than 90 kilometers per hour, but I'm doing everything I can just to get it into the pits. We do manage making the pit lane, but hopefully I don't get stuck or crash into something here. You can see Zoo does a bit of drifting, but I think that's kind of the strategy there, to get as much momentum as you can to try and enter the pits. And I think there is no argument on which tire everyone is choosing. It's going to be the full wet tires. You can see 86% water. That's crazy. Well, here we are after the safety car, and I'm here up in P3, so can we get a podium in my home track? No, we can't, because Razor Hyper is much faster than me. I'm not going to fight him too much, because otherwise I might end up getting confused in the racing line and stuff, so I'll let him get ahead. It's not like I'll be able to catch up anyways. However, P4 is okay for me, but Arthur is catching up, and he might eventually catch up, because I did serve a 5-second penalty prior to this clip, which is how Razor was able to catch me up as well. So we are here after a long safety car. I decided not to include it. This was good. It's a very boring safety car, but we are here back into, this is going to be lap 15. We're here in P4, but right behind us is Arthur, who could really catch up to us very easily, because I know he has really good pace around it. But I'm going to try and hold him off a bit, see if I can just secure my P4, because P5 is what I got last time, and I want to impress the crowd at France, even try and get a podium, but I think a podium's out of reach, especially there I just went wide. So we are here on the last lap. There's heavy competition at the front. However, me, I am in P5 right now. I lost my position to Arthur. It's such a shame. I was doing really well. I guess I'm gonna have to settle with P5 unless something amazing happens. And as I say that, Razor disconnects just on the last lap as well. That must be so enraging for him. But that means I automatically inherit P4. Thing is, Andy, I think, is not able to finish the race, or I think something happened to his car, which means I'm literally practically in P4.
What a fun little race this was. Yes! Oh my god, yes! This is like finally! All of that paid off.
Okay, so we are here in the final few corners, and actually Arthur stole the win and wins in France. And this is very good news, I get P4, which means 12 points for the team. Solid points, my best position yet. So yeah, thank you for Razor for disconnecting and giving me that P4. Thank you very much. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.